Despite the Kings' best efforts, we managed to come away victorious in Game 5 to take the 3-2 series lead. I would say it's been a tight series so far, but it's really been a blowout for one side for 4 of these games. We really only had one close game, and I didn't expect for us to be so good our first time in the playoffs. But DeJounte has been instrumental in this series, keeping De'Aaron Fox in check the whole way, while Jalen has been scoring whenever and on whoever. They've both been so good, and maybe it makes sense because DeJounte has played in 4 playoff series before this. We're going to need him to continue to be awesome because we've got an elimination game at home in Houston. Let's get to the second round. We come out pretty slow actually, with Jovic getting cold instantly after being stopped at the rim a couple of times. The duality of a rookie, I guess. We actually struggled a lot early in the game, and it was a struggle to get any shot to go. We were turning the ball over quite a bit. Granted, we only allowed 8 points, and all it took to catch up was stringing together a few shots, but I have to create suspense somehow, you know. To give the Kings credit though, they did a really good job of playing decent defense and still getting some okay shots. When Fox wasn't taking pull-up 10-footers, that is. But leave it to Andre Drummond to give up the lead. He left Christian wide open for 3, and he had him covered pretty well twice earlier. But considering the starters weren't doing much, all of them except Jalen got subbed out. We had several guys pitch in to score. From KPJ to Şengün, guys got touches. But again, uncharacteristically, the Kings bench was playing well. They played good defense on us several times. Rashawn Holmes erased a shot by Şengün and a dunk by KPJ. Mitchell and Davis managed to hit enough shots on us to not only stay in the game, but take the lead from us. Just a performance that we're not used to seeing from this Sacramento bench. They end up being up 3 on us at the end of the first despite Jalen's best efforts, which was 12 points in the quarter. And we come out of the gates pretty strong in the second with Christian hitting a couple huge shots to put us up a bit, but it didn't last all that long considering we keep giving the Kings wide open shots. We can be a good defensive team, but sometimes it feels like we're the worst defense in the league. The Kings don't even have weapons like that. Their spot-up guys are just managing to get wide open corner shots half the time. Doesn't help that DeJounte took like 3 threes early on, which is probably 3 too many if we're being honest. But we do end up going with a different look about halfway through the quarter. It happened to coincide with the 13-4 Kings run, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Then we go on something like a 9-2 run before the Kings get uncomfortable and call a timeout. 7 of those points belong to Jalen, who's been really good this entire series. He ends up with 25 points before halftime, and I'm pretty sure he had 12 or 13 in this quarter too, which is insane. We actually managed to pull away a bit before the end of the quarter, and that's in large part thanks to the Kings putting in the bench while we had 2 starters on the floor still. Jalen has dominated Terrence Davis and Austin Rivers all series long, but I guess they don't have anyone better to guard him when Fox and Halliburton are resting. I'll take it though. He gives us a 7-point lead going into the second half. And we come out pretty cold in the third quarter too, unfortunately. And by we, I mean Jalen. He missed 1 wide open shot, but he also took 2 pretty contested ones like 1 minute into it. He missed all of them, by the way, if that wasn't clear. I'm pretty sure he actually misses something like 5 or 6 straight shots. So we decided to go for a different look, inserting KPJ in the lineup. He starts off pretty well by leaving Halliburton absolutely wide open in the corner, so that's cool. He actually doesn't make that much of an impact, but he does well enough and he gives Jalen rest. DeJounte is the one who carried the show on both ends of the floor. But he has to come out of the game eventually, which is exactly where our double-digit lead disappears. But we do end up coming out up 3 thanks to some last-second KPJ heroics, actually hitting a 3 for once. And all I've talked about the whole series is how Jalen has scored the heck out of the ball and how DeJounte is doing a phenomenal job running the show, but I have completely neglected Christian Wood. He's actually been great. I mean, he only has a handful of plays where I'm like, what the heck are you doing? His post-ups have been great, even on Drummond and Thad Young at times. He's made just enough of his threes to keep the defense on their toes, and don't even get me started on him in the pick and roll. He's been fantastic, sometimes corralling his own misses for putbacks over Drummond or Holmes. But despite his amazing performance so far, The Kings do catch up with us in a potential elimination game, but DeJounte said, nah, we're not doing this today. He gets up to 15 points and 11 assists, driving right by De'Aaron Fox for the dunk. KPJ's just pouring it on too, giving us his best game of the series so far, which just so happens to be 11 points so far, but better late than never, I guess. And Jalen pours on .34 to give us the 6-point lead with only 3 minutes to go. This team wants to go on to the next round. And I haven't shown anything, but the defense has also been incredible down the stretch. Lots of blocks and good contests to force missed shots. The Kings even took out De'Aaron Fox because he was having so much trouble scoring on DeJounte. Granted, Davion didn't do much better. But there's about a minute left. Drummond just missed a free throw. We're on the fast break. And KPJ, his third three of the game is good to give us an 8-point lead. Having him come off the bench to provide a punch makes him way more valuable than him as a starter. The Kings do end up cutting it to within 3, which is where I start to sweat a bit. If we stay calm, play defense, and Christian absolutely rockets a shot to DeJounte. I mean, rockets. Then the Kings play the foul game, and we win the series. I know, right? I would not have expected that coming into this. We completely lucked out not playing in the play-in tournament, missing out on playing Dallas or New Orleans. We were just a horrible matchup for the Kings. I mean, look at our top guys at this game. Jalen had 36, Christian had 23 and 13, and DeJounte was on triple-double watch with 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists on only 10 shots. Just absolutely phenomenal performances from our guys on both ends of the floor. Because look, Halliburton, 5 for 16. Fox, 5 for 15. Mitchell, 5 for 16. Terrence Davis taking 12 shots for whatever reason, 4 for 12. Harrison Barnes was the guy who scored the most, which is crazy. But there's no way you're winning if your best players are all shooting 33% from the field, which I would not be surprised if those are the series stats too. Absolute clamps from our guys in this series. And we will need it next series too, because we're going up against the Dallas Mavericks. Oh boy, this ought to be fun.